We have new major developments for the upcoming Resurrection of the Christ movie, which is the follow-up for the Passion of the Christ film in 2004. Director Mel Gibson has shed some new light on exactly what they're about to do here, and it looks like it's going to be way bigger than we initially thought. Let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Covenant Studios. I'm Eldridge, and yes, we have some pretty interesting developments for the Resurrection of the Christ movie. This is supposed to be the 2026 sequel for the 2004 release of The Passion of the Christ. We all knew that this was coming. This news has been kind of out for a while now, but we got some more information from the director himself, some pretty major developments and more details about the production, more details about, the cast, and also more details about the scope of this entire release. Let's go ahead and just dive right in. So the first thing that we want to go ahead and confirm is that the title for this movie is officially locked in as The Resurrection of the Christ. We know that initially Mel Gibson, the director, he talked about this is what he wanted to name it. This is kind of the vision he had. He said this on Joe Rogan's podcast. Well, it's official. It's locked in stone. This is the name of the film. We also now have the official social media accounts of this movie that have been created. On Twitter, there is a new Resurrection of the Christ account. So if you guys want to follow that account, that is the official account. I believe on Twitter. They may have it also on Instagram. They possibly may have it on Facebook as well. So there is an official movie account, which is normally what happens when production is about to begin. Because when production begins, they'll begin sharing some photos or some sneak peeks. And then of course, when it's almost time for release, that's when marketing kicks up and they start, showing things to promote the movie. So that is going to be the account, the main go-to for developments going forward. So go ahead and follow that account if you want to, if you have any social media to follow it. And there is a video clip with the official title card of the movie, and man, the song reminds us all of 2004. They actually played the song of the Passion of the Christ to kind of tease where we're going. Watching that clip got me so excited because it's really happening. That's the first little sneak peek or little tease that we have of this movie. First thing that I've ever put out aside from just, interviews from Mel Gibson. So just incredible. I won't play the music because obviously it may be a copyrighted track, but you can listen to it on your own. Very, very thrilling. I can't wait. So let's talk about the script for a bit. We do know from what Mel Gibson has shared that he has actually worked on the script for this movie for nearly 10 years. That is not, there's no exaggeration. I believe he said about 8 years he was working on the script. And this is not because it was being delayed or because he had some hindrances with making this film. He said no, it took 8 years to make the script for this movie because he took so much time consulting with theologians, biblical scholars, and drawing context, drawing information from the Gospels, from early church writings, and also mystical traditions such as the writings of saints who described the harrowings of hell. As you guys may have seen in my first video talking about this, if you haven't seen it, you can go check it out. He basically says and confirms that this movie is not just going to be in Jerusalem or in Judea. This is going to be in hell, in heaven, in different realms. So there's going to be some CGI in this movie depicting heavenly events, dark events, spiritual beings, falling of angels. So this is going to be very intense and very deep and probably dark in some moments because you're dealing with the battle between good and evil. You're dealing with what the resurrection actually did. It wasn't just, he got up from the grave. It was a complete, total destroying of power of the kingdom of darkness. And so to visualize that in movie form is a very tall task. So that's why it took them about 10 years, almost 10 years, to construct the script for this movie. But apparently the script is complete and they are preparing to begin filming. Filming is going to begin in the month of August of 2025. So this year, this fall. This is actually shaping up to be a theologically rich and visual stunning and spiritually profound film that could have a historic impact on how Christians understand the resurrection. Just to go over the cast list so far, this is all of the confirmed cast that we have as of now. And actually all of these roles are being reprised. So that means all of the people who played these characters in the 2004 Passion are the characters that will be returning. So Jim Caviezel is going to be returning as Jesus Christ. He played it in 2004. Monica Bellucci is going to be playing as Magdalene, Mary Magdalene. Maya Morgenstern will be reprising her role as Mary, so the actress for Mary is coming back. Francesco DeVito will be returning as Peter. So far, those four are going to be returning that we saw in the, 20 years ago in the original Passion. And Mel Gibson said that, this is possible. We're able to have the same people now because we have new technologies now. We have technologies that's called de-aging, where we can make a person look much younger than what they actually look in real life. So they have CGI and a lot of technology now, so in the film they won't look 20 years older. They'll look like no time has passed, which is crazy. But I can't wait to see how it actually materializes on the screen. Very exciting. Now, one pretty major development that we have so far regarding this movie is the studios that is going to be partnering. So we do have confirmation that director Mel Gibson has partnered with LionsGate Studios for the production of the Resurrection of the Christ. I believe that's a big deal because this is a pretty major studio that will be able to help with, the tall task of the visuals that we're going to see on screen. So this deal with LionsGate Studios continues Mel Gibson's long association with LionsGate. He made his most two recent films with them. Bruce Davies' Icon Productions will be returning for this as well. So Icon Productions, if I'm not mistaken, was another studio, like a smaller studio that worked on the initial Passion. Well, they are going to be returning for the Resurrection. So Bruce Davies and Icon Productions is coming back. A lot of people are coming back, which is awesome to see. That is not a whole new brand, it's not going to be completely brand new. There's going to be a lot of familiar faces and familiar people working on this movie. So that gives me some comfort. There's been a lot of faith-based content I noticed that has been happening in the past, couple of years. And I may do a video of Christian content and kind of talking about the projects we've gotten so far and talk about what we have to expect in the future, because there are some projects really awesome that are coming up. And recently we have some new dialogue, some new conversation that came from Mel Gibson about this movie. Recently he sat in a panel with Screen Rant's Joel Deckelmeyer at Fan Expo Philadelphia. So Mel Gibson arrived there, they talked about this movie, and this is what Mel Gibson said. I'm going to read what he said about this movie in addition to what we have from the Joe Rogan interview. So this is all from the director of The Resurrection of the Christ, Mel Gibson. It took me about 8 years to write the script for the sequel, if we can call that The Resurrection of the Christ, because it's a very complex and almost impossible to understand subject. So that necessarily you have to underpin it with a great deal of all of salvation and theology. It was a very difficult thing to find and synthesize, because you have to understand, firstly, why it matters. You have to think, why is mankind so important in this process? Why are all the big realms of good and evil slugging it up for the hearts and the minds and the souls of mankind? Why us? We're just a bunch of effed up things. We're imperfect. You have to ask yourself, why are we important? Why are we making the sandwich? That whole huge story. And I think in order to understand that, you have to start with the fall of the angels in the firmament. Before, right at the beginning, it's a pretty crazy idea. What did that look like? I know what it looks like. It's not one film. It's two films, because it's massive. So that is a pretty major thing, what he just said. He said he knows what it looks like. It's not one film. It's two films. So basically, the director of The Resurrection of the Christ just confirmed that this is not one movie. This is going to be two movies. In order to fully expand and fully break down the complexities of this story, from the spiritual world to the natural, this cannot be done in one film. So this ultimately, basically, confirms that he is attempting to make a trilogy out of the Passion of the Christ, which is 3 movies in total. The Passion, the Resurrection, and a third movie to complete this story. So that's pretty major, because we initially thought, they were just going to talk about the resurrection, maybe the 3 days between the death and resurrection, and then maybe, because he said it's going to start from the fall of the angels to the death of the last apostle. So maybe that death of the last apostle, those final moments will be in that third movie and not the second. But if this stands, if they're able to bring this into fruition, we're looking at a trilogy, a Passion of the Christ trilogy. We're looking at 3 films, one coming up next year, God willing, and then one to come up after that. That's a really big development, and that's exciting to me because I don't want it to just be one movie. I want to continue. I want to have content for the generations that are coming up, people that are like just for time, just for longevity's sake, keep making films that honor Christ, that reverence Christ, because time is of the essence, and this stuff is wrapping up. And by the way, this is not the first time that Mel Gibson has kind of hinted that this might be 2 movies. He actually said it back in July of 2023. He said, and back in 2023, it will be the biggest film in history. It might be 2 films. It could be 3, but I think it's 2. So he's already been hinting that there's going to be more than 1, and that makes me so happy. So that's a pretty major development. Now, I will say just a little bit of footnote. I just feel led to say this, so I'm going to say this. In his quote, where he described this with at the Fan Expo in Philadelphia, he did use profanity, and he did use the F word in his description of this. And I just think that Mel Gibson is probably talking to people that are unsaved, but I think that you are representing a film that is holy. It's honoring a holy thing. It's honoring a holy event. It's honoring a holy God. So I think Mel Gibson should watch the way he speaks when he speaks in public, and he should represent with better language and not use profanity like that. I know it may be minor to some of you, but this is a holy topic, and you don't want anything to step into the way of your witness, of how you represent Christ to the world. So I noticed that when he said that, and he has said some things on Joe Rogan. He has used some profanity then, and I know that's probably just where he is right now, but I think that right now he's moving into another phase of this with this new movie. And there's going to be forces that's not going to want this movie to come out. And I think he should be more prudent, and he should be more reverent of what he's doing by watching his language. So I just feel led to say that. I know he's going to do a great job. He has a great vision. He's surrounded by godly people. And this movie is going to give honor to God. But I think he himself also should consider that when he talks about this film in the public. Because this ain't no Disney movie. This is about the resurrection of the Savior. So let's be a little bit more respectful of that. So, that said, I just want to also talk about some information that we have about the filming locations, the production locations that is happening all over the world, where this movie is going to be filmed, essentially. So it's planned to be filmed in some ancient southern towns like Italy, including Matera, and also in partnership with a studio called Cinecittá Studios. And I was curious, what is this Cinecittá Studio? So I looked into this. I was like, I wonder what this is. Where is this? And I am fascinated by this place. This is a really awesome place. And I never knew this place even existed. So Cinecittá Studios is a place, I believe it's in Italy. Yeah, it's in Rome. It's in Rome. And it's like a film studio complex. It's located in Rome, and it has replicas of like ancient landscapes or ancient environments. And there's been other movies filmed in this location. In the backlots of Cinecittá Studios, they have full-scale replicas of the Jerusalem street set, which was originally built for the Passion of the Christ in 2004. It includes narrow and stone-lined streets, market areas, and city gates, which is so awesome. It was designed to reflect 1st century Judea under Roman occupation. And also they have temple courtyards, ancient structures, and then some scenes resembling the Herod's Temple complex or the Sanhedrin courtyards have been constructed for multiple productions. They also have Roman-era palaces and courtyards, Herodian courts, biblical village exteriors like mud brick houses and stone walls and thatched rooftops used to represent towns like Nazareth, Bethlehem, or Capernaum. They even have Crucifixion Hill, Golgotha. They have a replica of that where the Passion of the Christ film scenes on a man-made hill that resembles Golgotha. And there's also, you know, like a lot of desert and wilderness landscape, like open backlot areas that are used to simulate the Judean wilderness for stories like Jesus' 40 Days of Temptation or the Exodus journey. So they have all of this at this place in Rome. It's kind of like a it reminds me of Universal Studios or like a Disney World. I mean, it's not a theme park for entertainment, but it's made like that. It's made like those theme parks. It replicates like when you walk in, you're walking into ancient Jerusalem. And there's people that actually visit this studio. So if I ever go to Rome, I would love to tour Cinecittá Studios, where they filmed The Passion. They've also filmed other things, other movies. It says they filmed Ben-Hur, 1959, Cleopatra, 1963, The Passion of the Christ, 2004, HBO's Rome series, The Young Messiah, The Two Popes, and etc. So they film biblical or Christian things at this studio. So they're going to be going back for the Resurrection film, which is awesome. So yeah, I think this is awesome. This is shaping up to be a theologically rich, spiritually profound film. And we don't really have any movie out there quite yet that depicts the spiritual elements quite like he's trying to do. So I think this is going to be a major step forward in the Christian faith, for Christian media, Christian films, and I just pray a special prayer of protection, a prayer of success and fulfillment over the production, the crew, the cast, the director, the writers, the screenwriters, the post-production supervisors, the composers, the set designers, the costume designers, everyone that's going to be involved in the making of this film. This is to honor the story of the resurrection and hopefully bring souls to the kingdom and convict hearts and minds of people out there. And so I'm really excited for this film. I'll continue to do production updates. You guys, I've seen some comments saying they want to see me do more production updates. I don't mind talking about this because this is my most anticipated film of all time right now. So any little detail that I see, I am magnetically connected to it. I'm gonna go run and see what's happening. So I don't mind, you know, talking about the development of this movie and just kind of, you know, giving you guys some updates. So that's what's happening so far. LionsGate connected. We got 4 people reprising their roles that were in the 2004 movie. Cinecittá Studios, big area. They're going to be back in that area, and also Icon Productions returning. Yeah, a lot of awesome stuff, and we have more details from Mel Gibson, the descriptions that he gave. And so yes, Resurrection of the Christ, 2026, hopefully. There's no delays. We pray that it release on time and release without any delays. We may be getting more news as we get towards the summer, like towards the end of the summer, towards the fall. That's when production actually will begin. So we may have some images, some behind the scenes, who knows. But go follow their official account, and it's going to be exciting. So if you guys enjoyed this, thank you for watching. Drop a comment below, subscribe if you're new, and like this video, share it around for those who are also excited for this film. And what are you most excited to see in the Resurrection of the Christ? What are you most anticipating? Drop it below, and thank you for watching. I will see you all in the next video. God bless.